Well, hello, YouTube. Thank you for joining me today. It is always a pleasure to be in your company. So, this is the question for you. Has Ray Kelly, the man who is chief of the New York Police Department, has Mr. Kelly been whispering sweet nothings? Sweet nothings into the ear of Bloomberg? Well, it would appear so. It is no secret he is willing to push tactics that allows the city to flag and potentially mistreat anyone deemed to be a higher risk for criminal activity. Public housing residents have always had the illustrious reputation of being considered deviants or lacking moral scruples. It cannot be denied that some who are needing of such assistance are this way. Indeed, I have met some people that appear to have minds that are as dilapidated as their homes. Of course, it is popular rhetoric that all ills experienced are solely due to bad choices of those who are suffering. This is not true. Some families, for example, have financial struggles due to unforeseen events. This changes their world, turns everything upside down. So they temporarily have to use the system to pull themselves out of a hole. They then find themselves trapped among those who may not care. Yet Bloomberg has indirectly admitted he is willing to endorse spending on useless technology. Yet you will never hear the likes of him meaningfully address, key word, address the substandard living conditions, not completely due to the contributions of the people, mind you, and the unacceptable wait times for repairs. However, in Bloomberg's recent wake of frustration over the labeling of stop and frisk as unconstitutional, I can never say that enough, unconstitutional, he has suggested that biometrics be used. Surely, the capturing of fingerprints and the use of it as keys into the supposed sites of urban decay will prove to be an annoyance for those who live there. But will it prevent crime from occurring? Will it decrease crime significantly? How will this data of one's arrival be used? Will it be stored? Of course, I would not expect him to consider the potential privacy violations. Why not bring in, this is my thought, just some common sense suggestions for Mr. Bloomberg. Why not bring in security systems and heavier police concentration, since you're so inclined to make the most out of your police department? Why not offer training and work, to those who live in said communities, so that they may act as a supplemental muscle for the police? This would allow residents that have a greater knowledge of the day-to-day dynamics, that see what is occurring every day within their residential area, allow them to be instrumental in securing their neighborhoods. After all, for those who think that the residents are nothing but slouches and have nothing better to do than to live off of the tit of the government, isn't it better that we get them off of the proverbial couch and into something more suitable? A station where they are able to be a respectful citizen. Hey, let's not even mention that it will strengthen the local economy. With this idea, we would need to provide a check and balance system that decreases the potential for corruption. Corruption that loves to rear its ugly head. Maybe those earmarks that are available to be used, that have yet to be used, can be employed in this venture. So we have to ask ourselves, when we deal with crime, is it correct that we resort to treating the residents as criminals in waiting? Yes, indeed, we must treat people like criminals to ensure they don't become criminals, right? What Bloomberg apparently is unwilling to conceive of is that we need a joint effort, a meaningful joint effort between lawful residents and the police. If you establish a dynamic which will do nothing more than envenom this association, then we have achieved nothing but further wasting of tax dollars. Surely Mr. Bloomberg has just forgotten the wise words of Benjamin Franklin. Now, Mr. Franklin warned that those who give up liberty for security in the end will have neither. Surely Mr. Bloomberg has forgotten about this. We know he does not care about liberty. How? Well, let's look at his track record. His actions tells us all that he stands for. Don't you remember his dire warnings? Those dire warnings for people riding elevators during the Hurricane Sandy. Quote, "If you get into an elevator during the storm, we will get you out, but you will be sent to an internment camp." End quote. Think about that, America. Think about that, world. Think about that and tell me, can we trust our politicians? Can we trust the likes of Bloomberg to do right? Can we trust that he will treat those that are of lower economic and social standing than he rightfully? Do you think that any internal biases that he may have may come into play and allow him to treat others with disrespect? This is what a growing number of politicians want for the American public. I am stating this definitively, that we have a growing amount of politicians that wish to establish a new normal. A normal where citizens are expected to do exactly as they are told. Yet, many will sit on their hands because of their internal biases and hurt their own interest. We should not allow, as vigilant Americans, even the suggestion of such draconian propositions to be delivered to us. Thank you for your time.